No, my haere mai, my classmates from Stream 89 to 93. We are at video number 32. Fantastic, 3-2. And beaming in from Aussie, this one. Now, this fellow I remember fondly, an Upper Hutt boy. He was a good all-round guy at school, and I've heard snippets of what he's been up to over the last decade and plus, and he's done phenomenally well. Really keen to hear his story. It's great to have another day boy out there representing. So beaming in from a lockdown New South Wales at the moment, the one and only, is a massive kia ora to our mate Kieran McCaul. G'day Kieran, how are you?
Hey, good, huge. Yeah, good to be here. Great to see all the stories. It's been good. Congratulations and well done to you. Love hearing them.
Oh, good on you, mate. Thank you. And I'm glad you're enjoying the vlogs and just catching up with a few old faces and stories. We were all part of a pretty special year group at Stream, and you were part of that. So thanks for joining us. And I know you're a busy man, and just look forward to catching up with you. So Kieran, take us back to what brought you along to Silverstream in the first place, how many years you ended up doing, and can you remember your first day at school?
Yeah. So I joined 89. I was there from 89 to 93. Came from Upper Hutt, day boy. I came in with the St. Joseph's school intake. There's quite a few of us came through, so there was quite a number there. I do remember the first year really quite fondly. It was quite good. I did say a lot of the teachers knew me or knew of me before I started, which I didn't tell anyone at the time, because my grandmother and I had some aunties who had taught at Stream prior to us going there, prior to me going there. And my uncle was a previous rector. So a lot of the teachers, or some of the older teachers anyway, like Mr. Ellis and Mr. Brown and some of the music teacher, all knew my grandmother and aunties, and they'd always remind me of that fact. So I felt like they were keeping quite an eye on what was happening.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, good few years.
And so, Kieran, you just mentioned your relative was a former rector. So who was that and when?
Yeah, so he was my uncle Gerald, and he was Father Gill. That was his name, Father Gill. And his photo was up in the auditorium, always looking down on me. So he was actually alive until a few years after I left Stream. I think the second year out of Stream, he passed away. But yeah, he was my uncle.
That's amazing.
Good to catch up with him.
Something that I bet none of us knew. So there we are in assemblies and things, and you just have a sneaky little look up, and your uncle's looking down at you.
Yeah, it was good during the exams, in our last year, just to see him looking down, and then always would go and chat to him. He lived in Wellington, so it was good to catch up with him. We caught up fairly regularly, actually, talk about the old days of school.
Oh, so good. And remind us, did you end up doing the full 5 years?
Yeah, I did. I stayed as a day boy full 5 years. I did finish off the 5 years and then went on to CIT and other things after that. So after my first year out, I went to CIT, and not far away at all. And there was a few Sylvie boys that went there. I did software engineering. Don't know why. I thought I wanted to be technical back then and do some computer programming. Did that for a few years, finished it off. There was another guy who did it with me, actually. He was a year or two older than us, Mago, Scott Perry. He did it as well. We're in the same class, and finished that off and realized I didn't want to be technical at all. So went to Victoria for another few years, Victoria University.
Wow.
But yeah, I was there for the full 5.
Good on you. Now, I remember, and I wonder whether you agree with this. So when we first started in 89, there was definitely quite a division between boarders and day boys. And then I think in our year group, maybe from definitely 5th, but definitely 6th and 7th form, that gap seemed to close quite nicely, and we all sort of got on really well with each other, regardless of whether you were day boy or boarder. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely was. So, back in 3rd form, there were, I think, 5 classes, weren't there? So, we all got split up, and, all the guys from St. Joe's all got split up into different classes across the 5 so it was great because we got forced into meeting other people and meeting different people, boarders, day boys, people from other parts of Wellington, and then I think sport also helped bring us together, right? So we played. I played cricket for a couple of years just socially. I was never that good at it, but rugby as well. Played rugby for the full 5 years, and then after stream as well. So I think the sport helped bring the day boys, boarders, and people from different places together, as well as the classes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Now, did you have a particular teacher that you liked better than than the others? Was there one that stuck out for you in particular?
Mr. Ellis was always good. I did struggle through accounting, I would say that, but he was always quite good. And again, he kept reminding me just on the side, occasionally he'd say, just remember, I'll chat to your grandmother, I saw her, and he'd just sort of throw that in there every now and again. So I felt like I had to try a little bit harder, but he was sort of someone I'll always remember quite fondly. He was quite good.
Yeah, look, I'm with you on that, and of course we've spoken about his passing recently and his anniversary. But for me, Mr. Alice was just such a tolerant man. Some of the things he just, and how he dealt with it, we sometimes could be a bit full on and boisterous, but he just had a calming manner about him, and a man that we'll miss deeply.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah, he was one of the great teachers I had to deal with. Yeah, there were lots of good ones, but he's one that still sticks in my head a lot.
Awesome. Now, time to talk about your occupation, what you do now for a living, what you've done. Now, I have heard that you've done very well, and I'm not exactly sure exactly what you do, but I think it's in the technology or IT business. Now, don't be shy, Kieran, because we really want to hear about how you've done, how things have come about, and I think it's wonderful to hear about success stories of our fellow classmates. So, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. Okay. So after I finished my degrees, a lot of people went overseas. I sort of fell into what I thought was a good job and didn't want to give that away. So I didn't do an overseas experience, go and live overseas. So I got a job at Computerland, and it was a sales role, really, a sort of a junior sort of sales role. Very quickly, they restructured, and I got elevated into a higher role. And Aidan Byron, got him into a role there as well. So he worked closely with him for a number of years. And then over the years, I found myself moving towards other sales roles in IT companies. So a few large ones like Oracle, Microsoft, and into sales management. So leading sales teams as well at those companies. And I worked in Wellington for about 10 years, I think. And with Oracle, I moved over to Australia, which is where I am now, living in Australia in Sydney. And I worked for them for another 5 years, so 10 years all up, 5 in Wellington, 5 in Sydney. Microsoft. And then a few years ago, I think 4 years ago now, some old colleagues of mine in New Zealand approached me to start. They had quite a large business with 200 people in IT in New Zealand. They said, could you start the Australian business for us, help us open up in Australia and come in as one of the handful of owners of that business? So we did. 4 years ago, we started it up in Australia, and it was going quite well. We were doing really well. And we ended up selling the business to Accenture, a very large American firm, in October last year, so not too long ago. So we sold to them. So I now work for them, and I have to for the next now 2.5 more years. I have to stay with them as part of the deal of selling that business. So yeah, on the sales management side mostly. Yeah, in the IT sector, so selling IT services to large companies. And I'm living in Sydney.
Wow. Listen, I love your style, Kieran. You're very humble. For those that don't know, Accenture is one of the largest companies in the world. They're very well known and huge. And for them to buy your company is no small feat. So, mate, from all of us, massive ups and congratulations to you and your team. That's just phenomenal, and really proud of the boy from Upper Hutt. Has done so well. Well done, bro.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, a lot of people to thank for that one. Yeah, as I said, I joined late to the company 4 years back, but it's a lot of work's gone on before that. So it was
100%.
thank you.
100%. You make your own luck in this world, and it certainly sounds like you've done now. Now, quick change of tack. Did you see the cricket yesterday, and how proud? I know you're a cricket guy. How proud were you when we took out that Test World Championship?
Oh, that was just awesome. That was awesome. Those are the days. I mean, we can't go into the office at the moment because of the COVID stuff that's going on. But those are the days you sort of love going into the office and giving other people. There's a lot of English and Aussies here, giving them a bit of stick about how we win it and they didn't. Love those kind of days. It's a great day to be in Australia when that kind of thing happens. So you just had to jump on WhatsApp and taunt a few people remotely.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Introduce your family to us. So, are you married and do you have children?
Yeah. So I moved to Australia 14 years ago. About 8 or 9 years ago, I got married to Sasha. So she is from New South Wales, from a country town called Orange, which is a 4 hours drive inland, little farming community west of Sydney. So I've met her in Sydney. We got married, and we've got two boys. One's 6, one's 3, Patrick and James. A few good Silver Stream names there. Yeah, they're a good handful. So yeah, we live in Maroubra in Sydney, which is on the eastern suburb, just a couple of beaches down from Bondi.
Oh, wow.
On the coast there. So it's not a bad place.
Good on you. And I'm from Upper Hutt. Good old Martin Street and Melrose Street. You're from Upper Hutt, but you really enjoy living in Maroubra now?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do like the climate. It's a lot busier. That's the one thing I don't like, because it is a busy place. But I do like the climate and the things that have here. I do get back to Upper Hutt quite a bit. I was there just probably a month ago visiting family. Still got family in Upper Hutt. So when I do go back, I stayed at the Tote last time, and I think I'll stay there as well when I come across to the dinner.
Wow. So let's touch on that. So all going well, our travel borders are open. You'll think you might be able to make the foundation dinner?
Yeah, I've already booked flights and accommodation, so I'm coming. Assuming that I can get out of, assuming there's no lockdown or something silly happening there, because if they block the borders, I won't be coming. But yeah, hopefully it's okay. Looking forward to it.
Well, that's amazing, mate. Thank you for that commitment. Look forward to catching up with you. But, we've got a few boys from New South Wales, actually. You've got yourself, we've got Richard Murphy and Mark Nees, Andrew Blumen, Hugo, all the guys that are coming over from Australia. And that's just a massive effort. So all going well. Well, I'm being pretty positive about it. Hopefully we should be all right by then, and it'd be great to catch up with you then.
Yeah, that'll be good. I didn't know some of those guys lived over here. I knew Neesy did. We caught up a few years ago, actually. There was a rugby test match on, and a few people came over from New Zealand, and we caught up at a pub in Sydney. But that was a little while back. Didn't know Murphy was over here. So it's good there's a few here.
Yes, mate. Yes. Well, you never know. From these videos, you might be able to start your own little New South Wales stream club, so to speak. It'll be another little sub hub of what we're doing here. Now, the question a franchise. There you go. Now, this is a question of your memories of, or any one in particular that has stuck with you all these years that you can share with the rest of the guys. Some of the guys have been struggling with this because there are so many. But is there anything in particular that does stick out for you that you've sort of every now and again, oh yeah, I remember that you can share with the rest of us?
Yeah, some of the guys have mentioned some great ones there that brought back, which I'd forgotten about. There's a few that stick in my mind. I just love the sporting events, sporting things that we used to do. Going to McKevity, seeing Aiken Stowers throw the javelin a mile, seeing Keg win the 400, running around the track, running the 400 meters at McKevity. Love that. Been part of the 2A rugby team and everyone else there. The practical jokes was something, and some of the characters, some of the practical jokes I still talk about today. There were some great ones that the guys used to pull. One in particular always makes me laugh. And the new block, I can't remember what that new block's called now. Where we had our classrooms in Everett. They had the science labs down the bottom. And very early on figured out that you could drop a textbook through the top window and it would open the door so you could get into the locked science labs. And I remember we had a science teacher, Father Williams, I think he was called Father Williams, and it must have been fifth form. Yeah, and so drop the textbook down, so open the door, and then inside, you've got all these water and gas taps. So you turn all the water taps on, but they don't know water comes out until the teacher sticks the key in by the door. So all the taps got turned on, no water's coming out, then collect the textbooks up by the door, walk out, and it looks like no one's been in there. So Father Williams walks through the door. First thing he does is reach up, turns the key by the door to turn on the water and the gas and the lights. Water just comes spraying at the door, like just fire hose type thing all over his face. He jumps back. The door closes to the classroom and it's locked, and there's just water pissing out everywhere, right? He just couldn't do anything. He didn't have a spare key. He had to go back to the staff room, water everywhere. He's drenched in water. Class was off for the day because the class was too wet. Quite a few guys got in trouble for that, I think. But yeah, it was a bit of fun.
Oh my gosh. Now, describe Father Williams. Describe.
He would have been, as appearance, he was fairly old chap. He was about 6 foot tall. I reckon he would have been close to his late 60s. Very, very thin, white hair, glasses.
Wow. Amazing.
I can't, I think he only taught science.
Yeah.
I'd have to, couldn't remember much more.
Hey, and 2A, what a great rugby team. Silverstream always had an awesome tradition of having a really good 2A team. Who were your coaches and who were some of the fellow players around you?
Can't remember who the coach was, but I remember James Henderson. James Henderson was in that team. I think Michael Doyle might have been in that team. I think Neasy might have been there.
Yeah.
I can't think of who else was there.
That was a great grade, man. Pound for pound, that 2A grade was very, very good.
Oh yeah, I did like. I mean, I was never big. In seventh form, I was only 60 something kilos, which I did laugh the other day. Hugo said he was he's 68 now, which is what I was in about seventh form. But I always thought I was quite skinny in seventh form, and so played 2A, and after school went and played under 19s and under 21s. And 1 year of senior rugby, and then joined 80 rugby, which was great. You had to be under 84 kilos, which was just a bunch of jockeys running around the field. It's quite fast, and loved playing that. And there was quite a few of us who played that. Both I played for Upper Hutt, and there was I played with Aidan, and Will played for a bit. And Paul Tafaru, he played. Simon Marshall, quite a few. Bargy, a couple of Barge.
Good names there. Futsy still floating around.
Yeah.
Up there in Upper Hutt.
I don't know what he does. He was a postman for a while. I don't know what he does now, but I don't know. Yeah.
Hey, now, Kieran, as we end of our questions, what advice would you give to any one of the boys, our boys in particular, that are maybe looking at venturing into a new era in their careers? You've been pretty successful. I mean, is there such a thing as never give up? Always look at giving something a go. What are your thoughts on things like that, as we're all in our sort of mid-40s now?
Yeah, I think I say it to my 6-year-old, mostly around food, but I think you could say it for a lot of different use cases. Is try it, you might like it. Is what we say to the boys, my boys, is that if something comes up, give it a go. You might like it, you might not. You can always back out, go back to what you're doing, but just try something, give it a go. That's probably the only thing I could think to say. Huge.
That's a good thing to say. All right, my friend. Now, listen, I remember you well. Fond memories even before Silverstream, when we played cricket together, being Upper Hutt boys. Really looking forward to you coming over, mate, and look forward to catching up with you. Have you got a message that you'd like to just say to the boys? We'll get this video out this afternoon. A special shout out from Kieran McCaul in New South Wales.
It's great to see all the videos done so far. Really, love seeing it, catching up with those faces and names that I haven't seen for a very long time. I look forward to catching up, having a beer over in New Zealand soon. Hopefully next month. We'll see. But keep the videos coming. It's great to see it all. Thank you.
Well, there you go, fellas. A lovely message from our classmate, and he's done very well. So we're very proud of you, Kieran. Thank you for your time. Thanks for joining us. All going well. We look forward to seeing you at the end of July. Fellas, Kieran McCaul. Thanks, brother.
Good stuff. Cheers, Jude. Bye.
Thanks, man.